I'm Lisa with OESD, and I'm so glad that you've joined me today. I'm going to walk through how we make our Evergreen Star Christmas tree skirt by OESD. It is a stunning piece, and you are going to love it as much as I do. This Evergreen Star Christmas tree skirt literally is going to be an heirloom piece that you are going to enjoy making and bringing out underneath your Christmas tree every single year. One of my most cherished memories is watching my mom pull out the Christmas tree skirt every single year. I would love to know in the comments below what one of your cherished Christmas memories are. We also happen to have a Christmas tiling scene stocking that's so fun. The link will be in the description below. But of course, the very first thing we want to do is get our supplies. And before we do that, I just want to make sure that I say one more thing, which is you want to stay tuned for the bundle because you know we want you to save some money. So let's get our supplies and we'll get started. Okay, for supplies. I'm going to start over here. You're definitely going to need a cutting mat, a ruler, and a rotary cutter. You'll need a pencil. You're going to need a press cloth because we don't want our beautiful stitches to get flattened, and they are gorgeous stitches. We need expert embroidery tape tearaway. We need a grippy grid. That's this black one right here. And the reason why I love the grippy grid is because when I go to hoop, my hoop is going to stay exactly where I put it and not slide out from underneath me, getting me frustrated. You are also going to want to have your expert embroidery point and press tool, your button clips, because we can't put this whole tree skirt together without them. For stabilizers, we are going to use soft web. We're going to use fuse and fleece, and for fabric prep, we're going to use our fusible woven. Those are all the supplies that we are going to need, including thread. And today, we're going to be using Isocord and Kingstar metallic thread. Let's talk about prepping our background fabric first. On the back of the red fabric that I have pre-cut out here for my hoop size, I've put fusible woven on. That is going to provide the body for the fabric in receiving all those stitches. If I didn't have it, I'd be inclined to get more puckering, and I might even have misalignment issues, and that would be a disaster. The other product that I put on the back of the red fabric is I put a layer of fusion fleece. I love fusion fleece for a couple of reasons in this particular project. One is that it's going to give our overall tree skirt more drapability. It's going to make it a little softer. It's just going to be really nicely draped around that tree. So those are the two products that I want to use on the back of my background fabric. Now, for our applique fabric, to prep that, we are actually going to start with soft web. And we've chosen soft web for this project for two reasons. One, it's a lighter applique product. And again, we're making this really beautiful drapable tree skirt, so we wanted to use something a little light. The other thing that I really love about soft web is it's going to prevent fraying around the edges of our applique fabric. We also, on the snow for our embroidery, we are going to put some fusion fleece. And what I love about fusion fleece, here it is right here, and you're going to see that I have my snow right here, is you see that we have this bright red fabric. Well, that fusion fleece is actually going to prevent any of that red from showing through the fabric. So my white is white and my red is red. All right, I think it's time for me to grab the iron and we'll get to fusing. All right, when we're prepping our fabrics, we're going to use a nice hot iron. And when you're feeling the soft web, one side is soft and the other side is rough. That rough side is actually the glue. I'm going to place it right down on top of my white fabric. And again, I'm using fusion fleece because it's going to prevent the red from showing through on my snow. And also, you know what? It provides a really nice trapunto effect. So let me go ahead, and I'm just holding it on here. I'm a steam junkie. It's just how I am. Put in the comments below if you're a steam junkie like me. So that is our snow applique fabric prepped with fusion fleece. Now I'm going to grab my soft web pieces and my other green applique pieces. I'm going to line that right up. And you'll notice, you'll feel right away how light and airy that soft web is. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just holding it for about 10, 12 seconds-ish. And I love soft web. It's going to prevent that fabric from fraying. It's going to be this really light hand. We're going to have this lovely drapable tree skirt. And we're going to be embroidering one block today. And in the instructions, there will be how to embroider all the other blocks. Okay, our fabrics are prepped. I'm going to put away this iron and I'm going to get out my grippy grid and my hoop, and I'm going to get ready to hoop my second block. Okay, I have tile 4, which I have already stitched out. Isn't that gorgeous? So beautiful. I'm going to do the process of strip hooping, which means that I'm going to go ahead and hoop the next block or the next tile, which is tile 5. So 4 and then 5, I'm going to keep going down the whole length of the fabric. And the reason why I strip hoop as opposed to cutting them out individually is it actually helps me save on fabric and on the fusion fleece, and anything that can help me save a couple pennies here or there is worthwhile. In between each hooping, if you want to, you can go ahead and iron your fabric. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this right over to here. And again, this is where I'm so grateful for that grippy grid, because I have had too many hoops slip out from underneath me, and that is no fun at all. So I want to go ahead, tighten up my hoop, and now I'm going to be ready to take this right over to the machine for my very first thing, which is a placement stitch, because otherwise I wouldn't know where it goes. So there is our placement line, and I love our digitizers here at OESD because they have taken out the guesswork for me. So that is where I'm going to take my first piece of fabric, the applique fabric that we pre-fused with soft web. I'm going to make sure I peel this off. And then I'm going to take 2 pieces of tearaway tape. I'm going to completely cover that placement line, get my little bits of tearaway tape, tape them right down. Then I'm going to bring it back over to the machine, and it's going to do a cut line and a tack down stitch. And what I love about that is that if I accidentally clip those outer stitches, I'm still okay. It's still in place. And you see where those 2 rows of stitches are, what I was mentioning. We have our tack down and our cut line. So I'm going to go ahead and just, for me, I like to take my tape up right here. I might even be able to reuse these same 2 pieces. I'm going to take my applique scissors and I'm going to cut in as close as I can on that applique. And again, if you accidentally cut that outer line, that's the cut line. It's no big deal because we still have the first row, our tack down. And we are actually going to repeat that same process for all of our appliques. Look at that. One tree, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put this back into the machine and do the next placement line. So this is the process that we're just going to go ahead and repeat. We're going to do our placement line, place our fabric, then we're going to do our 2 rows of stitching. It's our cut line and our tack down. And then we're going to go ahead and trim it as close to that, that row of stitching, that second row of stitching. If we accidentally cut the first, it's A-okay. We're going to repeat this process for all of our applique pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and place down my snow applique. This is the last applique piece that's going to go on this particular tile. I'm going to go ahead and tape that right into place. And again, that's where we have used the fusion fleece on the back to make sure we don't have any of the red fabric that's going to show through. Our metallic King Star thread is really going to give it some pizzazz, but even just choosing fabric with a little bit of sparkle just kind of elevates it just a little bit. This was such a fun project to see come into fruition here at OESD. One of our colleagues thought about it in her head, worked with our art department, and the next thing you know, it's digitized, it's beautiful. I've just been really looking forward to this project for such a long time. I'm really excited to see it all come together. Okay, I'm going to take this right back over to the hoop, and for machine steps 9 through 15, it's going to be all the cover stitch and the detail to make this tile really come to life. The last stitch is going to be thread color number 16. That's our seam stitch line, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put in a contrasting color in the bobbin for my seam stitch line. You'll notice that we stitched out our seam stitch line in red. It matches the fabric here, and the reason why it's here on the white is because that is going to be in our seam line. This is our seam stitch line, and we have it up a little higher because we actually have this part feathered into the next tile. That means when we sew everything all together, it's going to be seamless and it will look just beautiful. So the next thing is that you will want to go ahead and, according to the instructions, embroider all the other tiles that you'll need. Then we're going to move on to pressing our tiles. I love the Perfect Press Cloth because it really does allow the stitches to stay nice and shiny and not smushed into the fabric. Now is also a great time to label. So I'm going to go ahead and take my pencil and write inside, I'm going to write that this is tile 4. You want to make sure that you label all your tiles so that you know exactly where they belong. And now we're going to be ready to trim. So for our tiles, I'm going to trim them up 1/2 inch from the seam stitch line, and I'm actually on these 2 red tiles that I have right here. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam line from all 4 sides, but you'll notice that this side right here has a gentle curve. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to trim that. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to kind of come along and I'm going to draw little dots as I keep going, keeping that 1/2 inch. And I'm just using the markings on the ruler, and I'm using the seam stitch line as my guide. And then just kind of connect the dots a little bit, just ever so gently. And I'm going to take my scissors, and rather than my rotary cutter, because I'm just not as stable doing that. I know some people are really good with their eye-hand coordination and can freehand that rotary cutter, but I'm going to use a pair of scissors. All right, I feel pretty good about that. Now I'm going to get all the other tiles. You want to make sure you have everything trimmed. And now it's about sewing them together. And I'm going to call these, or I'm going to call this section a wedge. So you are going to go ahead and you're going to sew according to the instructions. You're going to want to look at your instruction booklet for where each tile goes. But you'll notice then that there's a top and a middle and a bottom. I'm choosing to call this a wedge. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the bottom to the middle, and then I'm going to sew the top to the middle. And where am I sewing? Good question. I'm going to sew where I put that needle, just inside that seam stitch line, just right in there. And you know what's going to help me? Button clips. Unlike other kinds of clips, your tiles might slide around and you thought you had it all lined up. Well, with these little guys, your tiles aren't going to go anywhere, so it makes it a breeze to sew. So we have our tiles sewn together into a wedge. I want to show one thing, and that's if I flip this over, you're going to notice that the seams have been pressed open. You don't want to do like in quilting and press to the dark side. On this, for all the bulk and all the seams, you want to press your seams nice and open, and I actually have a great tool for that. That is called the Perfect Point and Press tool, and you'll notice that I have 2 balls so that when you are ironing, you can just chase the ball with that steam and not burn your finger. Very helpful. So once you have one wedge, then you're going to get another wedge, and you're going to sew those 2 wedges together, just like this. When you have 2 wedges together, you're going to actually sew them with 2 other wedges, and you will have this wedge, which is a 4-piece. Isn't that pretty? It's going to be so gorgeous. I love it. So once you have all 4 of these, you're going to sew them to another 4, and that is going to give you a half circle, just like this. Oh, I just want to take a moment and admire the beauty of this half circle tree skirt. I just think this is so elegant and so beautiful. Okay, when you have a half circle sewn, then we're going to actually stop before you sew the other half onto it, because we need to prepare our back fabric and our batting. And the reason why is because we need to use this as a template for cutting out our back fabric and our batting, which I have right here. So I've got the back piece right here. This is going to go on the underside of the tree skirt. And I have my batting. And I'm going to cut out another piece. So then I'm going to have 6 pieces all together. The reason why we have not cut out an entire full circle is because the width of the fabric that comes on the bolts doesn't come that way. So what we need to do is do it in sections, 2 different halves. So you'll have 6 pieces all together. You're going to have 2 batting half circles, 2 backing half circles, and 2 embroidered top half circles. So now that we have all of that, we're going to sew them together so that we have a full circle of the back, a full circle of the batting, and a one side only, by the way. I should have said that at the very beginning. You are only going to sew one side, because if you think about your tree skirt, it has to go around the base of the tree. So you're only going to sew one side, and you will have a circle with one opening. So you're going to do that for your batting, your backing, and your top. Let's talk about how we're going to finish it. You are going to go ahead and quilt as desired. You can either stitch in the ditch, or if you want to do more quilting than that, you are certainly welcome to. It is your tree skirt after all. And you're going to then want to bind it. And the one thing I'm going to say is, I think because of the curve, you want to use a bias binding. I will also tell you that after doing all of this work, I don't know that I want to make bias binding, so I might go to my local quilt store and buy pre-made bias binding. But that's it. You're just going to quilt and bind, and you have a beautiful heirloom tree skirt. But I want to give you some more inspiration, because what else can you do with this? So because it's a wedge and it's so super fun, we decided to do a table runner in a different colorway. And isn't this spectacular? I love it in the blues and the silvers. We sort of swapped it over, so you have the light blue here, and then the light blue on, it just kind of keeps going, but you have the houses and the trees there. I love this. I'm going to just hold it up. It is so pretty. Just gorgeous. Which colorway do you like better? Do you like the blue and silver, or do you like the red and green? Either way, I'm telling you, this Evergreen Star Christmas tree skirt pattern is a wonderful collection that I'm going to cherish over and over and over again. I'm super excited about it. And you've watched all this way, and you were saying to yourself, but Lisa, what's the bundle? And that's a great question. I have that answer for you right now. We have 2 bundles in 2 different colorways. So bundle number 1, you get 3 rolls of fusible woven and 4 rolls of the Fusion fleece, along with the 6 threads that you need to make. That bundle is over $260 in retail. Today, you're going to save so much. Then you get to decide if you want the blue and silver colorway or the red and green colorway. If you're saying to yourself, I think I just want the threads, I already have all the stabilizer, that's a-okay with us. If you were to buy the threads by themselves, that includes the beautiful King Star metallic thread that we love so much, and you get them in either the red and green colorway or the blue and silver colorway. Either way, such a deal. Saves you tons of money. I know for me, I like to save a few pennies. I'm going to get that I Want It All so I can really save on that fusible woven and the Fusion fleece. Thank you so much for watching. I want to make sure that you know we have a Facebook page called The Perfect Stitch. I want to see all your inspiration pieces, and I can't wait to see your tree skirt on The Perfect Stitch. It's going to be beautiful. It is the Evergreen Star Christmas tree skirt design. We also have YouTube, and we have so much content on YouTube that you like and subscribe, and that way you're going to get all the videos we come out with right into your feed. We love having you sew with us. Thank you so much for watching, and happy stitching.